There are revelations that were not made to comfort the male ego, and the experiment conducted by David Buss is one of them. He exposes without anesthesia how women react to male micro-behaviors that the average man doesn't even notice. It is called the dirty experiment, not because of immorality, but because it rubs an uncomfortable truth in any man's face. Female attraction does not come from what you say, but from what you evoke. And most men evoke exactly the opposite. They enter interactions trying to please, trying to prove value, trying to be seen as an option. They don't realize they are playing a game that has never benefited anyone. The rejection they carry is not lack of value. It is lack of strategy. It is not incompetence. It is ignorance of the invisible rules of female behavior. What truly paralyzes the modern man is not the woman herself, but the sensation of being chosen or discarded without understanding why. The fear of not being desired settles into the body as a tension that makes you act small. The fear of seeming worthless turns your presence into a request for approval. The pursuit of female validation becomes the axis of your identity, even if you try to deny it. And the more you try to please, the deeper you sink. This is how the spiral of failure is born. You offer intention before offering impact. You run forward when psychology requires restraint. Robert Greene called this silent power. Attraction is not conquest. It is invisible manipulation of perception. It is the mastery of body language, rhythm, presence, and subtle signals that show what you represent before words. And David Buss proved exactly that. Women respond first to what the man's body communicates when he thinks he is communicating nothing. They perceive internal leadership before explicit leadership, emotional security before friendliness, value before intent. Buss's experiment shows that the female first impression is a reading of psychological status, not a moral reading. The tension of this video is born exactly here. Female attraction is not what you believe it to be. It is not kindness. It is not effort. It is not obvious intention. What activates a woman's interest lies in patterns she herself does not consciously perceive, and you are about to understand all of them. Now, what Buss revealed is brutal but liberating. You do not need to change your personality, your appearance, or your essence. You only need to activate the right instinct in her, an instinct far older than any modern narrative. Throughout this video, we will break down Buss's experiment, the hidden patterns he revealed, and especially the practical application. You will understand the mistake that eliminates your value before the first word. You will see change. You will see how discreet dominance changes the way she sees you. You will understand why women desire men with options, not men who are too available. And above all, you will learn how to turn presence into magnetism, not theory. Application, not hope. Strategy. This is the point where your identity begins to change. And when you reach the end, you will see female attraction as a mechanism, and you will know how to operate it with precision. The mistake that turns off her interest even before you say anything. When a man enters an environment with the explicit intention of conquering, he has already lost before the first move. Most do not realize the damage. That showing interest too early creates a trail of neediness that the female instinct detects instantly. A woman perceives when a man arrives seeking to be accepted, noticed, validated. That energy reveals need, and need is interpreted as weakness. Evolutionary psychology is relentless at this point. Before she evaluates who you are, she evaluates whether you're trying to be chosen, and when she perceives that, the interest fades. The shift begins when you trade intention for presence. You enter the environment without hurry, without expectation, without signaling desire. You observe first, stabilize your posture. Let your energy fill the space before your voice does. The absence of hurry communicates value. Anxiety signals loss of control. The work of David Buss showed something few men understand. Women respond to signs of value, not to speeches. In his research, the female brain looks for subtle signals of emotional stability, inner security, and silent status, not performance. It is not about expensive clothes, showiness, or clever lines. It is about what your body says when you are not trying to impress. Your speaking rhythm, posture, and way of moving without approval communicate more than words. The practice here is objective. Demonstrate emotional independence with simple gestures. Control your tone, speak slowly. Adjust your posture. Do not deliver anxiety through your eyes. Each micro-behavior communicates internal leadership and value. One of Buss's most ignored patterns is this. Women are attracted to men who seem to have something happening in their lives. She is not evaluating only you, but the world you carry with you. Movement, not urgency, signals purpose. Men who arrive transmitting immediate availability, an empty life, and total focus on her activate rejection. The man with purpose does not announce his activity. He lets small evidence slip. A focused gaze, internal occupation, controlled energy. The application is clear. Allow your life to show effortlessly. Not to impress, but to contextualize who you are. In 2021, University of Queensland research confirmed women prefer implicit status, not explicit status. Subtlety attracts. Exaggeration repels. Short remarks about projects, goals, and inner achievements have more impact than any self-promotion. You do not speak to convince. You speak to situate your energy. Form matters more than content. Internal movement is read as value. There's a pattern described by Buss that summarizes attraction. The cold value entry. It is the opposite of anxious enthusiasm. It is the opposite of the man who arrives trying to be interesting. Cold entry signals value before interaction. It comes from the absence of hurry, neediness, and exaggerated energy. It is the posture of a man who is not trying to conquer the environment. He belongs to it. This triggers immediate curiosity. Silence suggests value. When you arrive without urgency, mystery forms naturally. When you arrive without offering intention, her instinct searches for meaning you did not announce. This is the moment where the game shifts. You stop being obvious and become something to decipher. It is not about being handsome, charismatic, or extroverted. It is about eliminating the silent mistake that destroys value before the first word. When you master this beginning, you stop being another man and become a question she wants answered. The dirty experiment of Buss on discrete social dominance. Few men understand the devastating impact of the first seconds of interaction. Before you speak, your body has already classified you. Submissive micro-gestures erase value instantly. Buss's experiment showed that submissive micro-gestures erase your value before you even have the chance to show who you are. Not explicit attitudes, but invisible details like slumped shoulders, wandering eyes, hurried movements, anxious expressions. These signals communicate that you are in an inferior position. When she perceives that you shrink in front of the environment, interest dissolves. Rebuilding value requires a silent, precise adjustment. Shoulder blades back, firm chin, stable gaze. No word surpasses the body language of a man who does not bow to the environment, but settles into it naturally. Buss went beyond appearance of strength. He identified attraction to soft dominance, authority without noise or aggression. The man who tries to impose himself, speaks loudly, or dominates through force is read as unstable. But the man who leads effortlessly creates a different magnetism. Subtle leadership is implicit social power, rhythm, pacing, and energy control. Deciding the rhythm of conversation, choosing topics naturally, maintaining control of your energy while she follows. It is a silent dance where you guide without her realizing she is being guided. This ability is born from self-control, not force. The practice is simple. Instead of trying to impress, direct. Instead of filling silence with words, guide through tone and intention. Most men try to embody exaggerated alpha energy, forcing presence, dominating attention, proving superiority, and fail.